In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this DIY Spider-Man mask at home using a 3D printer, some puffy paint, and some basic sewing. But before we get started, I 3D printed the lenses and face shell from these files, which I got from KA Cosplay Tech on Etsy. And if you'd like to get these files, they're linked in the description. But without further ado, let's get started on making this mask. So the first thing I had to do was scale the faceplate so I knew that it would fit me after it was printed. And to do that, I would recommend watching this video in the upper right corner to see how to do that. It's pretty easy and I think it worked well for me. So the next step after that was printing out this template that I got from Sean's Crafts video on making the same kind of helmet. A lot of what I'm going to do is going to be very reminiscent of what he did because that video is what inspired me to make this. So then I laid out that template on some red stretchy fabric that I got at the store. It wasn't very expensive. And then I just cut it out, as you can see here. And then after that, I got ready to start putting the webbing design all over the mask. And to do that, I mixed some liquid latex I got off of Amazon and some black puffy paint I just got from the store. And that was pretty much a 5-to-1 mixture with more puffy paint than liquid latex. And then what I did is, after I mixed it all pretty dang well, I put it into a piping tube for like frosting and stuff, and then I figured out that I suck at frosting things and needed to find a new way to do it. So then I decided that, hey, screen printing is pretty cool, and I think I have a way I can maybe do it cheaply at home. So then I took another template and I glued it onto freezer paper, which is basically just some paper that has a wax on one side and it's just like normal paper on the other side. So I glued the template to it, and then I spent about 6 hours cutting out all the webbing lines and making sure it was all going to stay there. And then what I did is I took it, it looks pretty good, and then I ironed it onto some red fabric, and that took a while because I had to take all the pieces of tape off. That was kind of annoying. But after that, I pretty much just screen printed it with an old gift card that I had, and then I peeled off all of the freezer paper, leaving me with a pretty good webbing texture. So I think it worked out pretty dang good. After I got the webbing texture on the fabric, it was time to put the dotted red texture in between all the webbing lines. And to do this, I just cut some perforated vinyl like Sean's Crafts did, except for with the way I put the webbing lines on, I had to do every single little section in between all of the webbing lines. So that took a little bit longer, and another difference between mine and his is that I only used one layer of the perforated vinyl, just because I didn't want the dotted texture to end up being higher than the webs. But after I got all the pieces cut out, I just went in and put a little bit of red puffy paint all over the pieces, and then I used a paintbrush to make sure it got in all the little holes, and then I just peeled each piece out, and that ended up leaving me with a really good dotted texture to my web. And after that, it just was on to sewing the mask together, which in order to do that, I just cut out the edges of all of the template and stuff, and then I just carefully pinned all of the edges that are supposed to go together. And then I really slowly sewed them so I didn't mess up, and then after that, I had a pretty good mask. I also decided to do a test mask beforehand, so I just cut out the template without any texture and sewed it all together, and that prepared me for the final mask. So I would recommend doing that if you want to. But after that, it was time to get the lenses all finished up, and so to do that, I just cut some little pieces to fit behind the lenses out of some clear plastic I just found. Then I put a layer of perforated vinyl over that to give it the right look that it was supposed to have, and then I just press fitted that in, and then that gave it a good look. And then after that, I bought some little, I think they were 9mm by 1mm magnets that fit into the lens holes, and I super glued those in, and a lot of them are above that lens plastic so that those magnets will keep them in. And then I put more of those magnets just inside the face shell. Then after that, the lenses just stick to the face shell over the fabric. So after that, the mask was pretty much done. So let's take a look at it. So after all that work, this is the finished mask. I think it came out pretty dang good. It was a little bit harder and took a little more work than I expected, but I think it was all worth it in the end because it looks pretty good. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, comment for video ideas you'd like to see me do, and check out the description for the link to my Etsy store where you can get the templates for a lot of the helmets I've made. And I'll see you next time.